Alright, we should be live. Welcome to the live stream, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We have got such an exciting race on our hands today. I cannot wait for the race to get going. There's going to be so much action left, right and centre. Of course, we've got the two McLarens on the front row. We've had the closest qualifying session in Formula One history. The top six separated by only 0.2 of a second. This has never been this close in Formula One history, but this weekend we've just had that qualifying session. Lando Norris, of course, starting from pole alongside Oscar Piastri. It's going to be a very, very tall order for them to get off the line well and maintain the lead into turn number one. We'll have to wait and see what will happen, folks. Thank you everyone for tuning in to the live stream. If you haven't hit the like button, be ready to do so. It very much would help out the channel. And let me know what your predictions are. Who do you think is going to be leading after turn number one? Will it be Lando Norris? Will it be someone else? Yeah, let's wait and see. And, you know, there are so many different things that can occur off a race start. We have the potential that the McLarens could work as a team. They could say, right, we know that our weakness is race starts, but because we're both on the front row, we're both going to get away and we're going to go side by side so nobody can get past us. That would be a brilliant strategy, but that relies on the fact that both Norris and Piastri get a great start. We have track temperatures up in the 53 degrees Celsius range. It is going to be so hot today. The amount of tyre wear and the graining and the wear on the front left tyre especially is going to be enormous. Quite likely we will have a two-stop race as well, which always makes things exciting. There is a potential that you could pull off a one-stop strategy, but with track temperatures so high up, I think that's going to be quite unlikely. Still, we're going to have a couple of mixed strategies here and there, and it's going to be interesting to see which team does what. Everyone in the top six, they do have a fresh set of, well, they do have two fresh sets of hard tyres, in fact, so they should be good to, they should be good with that. Col is Colapinto. Of course, Logan Sargent, he has been replaced by Franco Colapinto this weekend, and not even this weekend, for the remainder of the season. Logan Sargent wasn't delivering up to Williams' expectations, and he is out of a Formula One seat, and Franco Colapinto is in. Okay, dokes. Let's see. Oh yeah, we might as well have a quick talk about the race strategy then. So Pirelli say the quickest strategy: start the race on a set of medium tyres, then go onto a set of hards, and that is your entire race. You're going to pit around about lap number 20. Yeah, lap number 20, lap number 22. That's when your pit stop will be, and then you will pit onto the hard tyres, and that will be your race strategy. But with very high track temperatures like we're seeing today, I feel like we're going to have the medium tyres, then the hard tyres, and then another set of hard tyres. That will probably be the optimal strategy. Not particularly sure as of yet, but well, most likely everyone will be starting the race on the medium tyres. You do not want to start the race on the hards and compromise your race start. We've seen this with the field so close now. If you have even a slightly bad race start, you lose 2 positions. That compromises your entire race, and the drivers are going to have to be super careful, very alert, waiting for those lights to come out, and then immediately let go of the clutch. It's going to be so close. The race pace simulation data, folks. The race pace simulation data. So it said that the race pace difference between all of the top 4 teams, it is 0.1 of a second between the McLarens and the Red Bulls. That's how close it is. And Mercedes and Ferrari are in between there as well. And just to say that this data is accurate, in qualifying, it predicted a gap of 0.2 of a second between the McLarens and the slowest team, and guess what happened? We had a 0.2 of a second gap. So this data is very, very accurate, and if the race pace is between 0.1 seconds of each other, oh folks, we're at Monza, the temple of speed, 2 massive DRS zones and massive chicanes where you can have overtaking as well. It's going to be such a spectacular race to watch. Yeah, I cannot wait to get started. Maybe P1 and P5 will have 2 seconds of a gap by the end of the race. Today's race will be close. Indeed it is. It will be very, very close. So, let's wait. With 25 minutes, so we have the formation lap, and then the formation lap will lead to the race, of course. if we have a look on who has two sets of hard tires, everyone has 2 sets of hard tires. The only driver that doesn't is Yuki Tsunoda. He probably is going to be compromised in today's race because he only has 1 set of hard tires. He will have to manage somehow, but the tire wear, because of the resurfacing that has been done at this Monza circuit, the tire wear is much higher than in previous years, and because of that we will probably have a 2-stop rather than a 1-stop. What is your favourite F1 circuit? I'm going to go with Suzuka as my favourite F1 circuit. Is the McLaren legal? Indeed it is. McLaren have got no cheats, nothing like that. They are just super quick, super efficient as well. Monza is all about aerodynamic efficiency. They have the highest average speed of the Formula One calendar, and efficiency is absolutely key in that, and Monza and McLaren are very efficient, so that's why they are right there at the top. It was very interesting though, listening to the drivers' press conference after the end of qualifying. Hamilton, Leclerc, Sainz, Verstappen, they were all so dejected and depressed, and I have a feeling what happened at the end of that Q3 session, Carlos Sainz gave us a little bit of insight. Nobody actually improved on their final laps on Q3. Verstappen was complaining, the car's just not gripping up, there's not enough grip on these fresh set of tyres, which is a very strange statement. Obviously normally fresh tyres have way more grip than used tyres, but what happened was in the final couple of minutes of Q3, track temperature dropped quite a bit, and because of that, Leclerc, Sainz, Verstappen, Hamilton, all of them got understeer in their cars, and they went out to do their quali lap, but the car balance wasn't right. They had quite a bit of understeer in the car, and boom, they couldn't improve. So yeah, a very tough situation there. George Russell, he did have the benefit of a little bit of a tow, and yeah, he managed to get up into 3rd place, but nonetheless it was a very tough qualifying for everyone out there, and McLaren managed to stay at the top. I think there'll be a McLaren 1-2 like Monza 2021. Maybe there'll be a McLaren 1-2, but the odds are stacked against Lando Norris. In the previous 4 races, the pole sitter at Monza has not gone on to win. In the previous 6 times that Lando Norris has got pole position, he has not held the lead going into lap number 2. So Lando Norris, the odds are slightly against him, but we'll wait and see. Carlos Sainz, of course, it is his birthday today, 30th birthday for Carlos Sainz. He could win on this weekend. He is one of 3 drivers to celebrate their Grand Prix at Monza, and in fact the last driver that won a race on their birthday was Jean Alesi in 1995, driving for the Ferrari team in Canada. So, Carlos Sainz, maybe he could go and score a race win this weekend. But of course, we've had quite a few incidents. In fact, last year, if you watch last year's Grand Prix, Lando Norris, Oscar Piastri had incidents. They drove into each other when I think Piastri came out of the pits and Norris was on his out lap, and Norris undercut Piastri, and they had contact. Both of the Ferraris, they were squabbling so hard for 3rd position, and Leclerc ended up losing out. He locked up quite a few times on his hard tyres last year, and I have a feeling we're going to see a lot more of this. We saw issues from Verstappen, from Perez, and from the Ferraris as well, locking up going into turn number 1, and when you're racing, you kind of, your focus is on where is the other driver, where am I going to hit my braking point. But those lockups, they become more and more frequent the harder and harder you're pushing. And if we're going to have lots of close racing with overheating tyres, I have a feeling that we're going to get some lockups into turn number 1 and drivers having to pit because of it. Yeah, alright. Folks, if you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. Hopefully we can hit 1,000 likes before the start of the race. That would be fantastic. We've got 2,000 people tuned into the live stream. That is amazing. Hope you guys are all enjoying the coverage. We are 20 minutes away from the start of the Grand Prix. Thoughts on Ricciardo? Well, Ricciardo has done well. He's outqualified his teammates, but the problem is that Yuki Tsunoda was given a set of upgrades. Those upgrades have gone backwards. They've actually made the car slower. So while Ricciardo has outqualified his teammate by 4 positions, that is not exactly representative of Daniel Ricciardo's pace, and he is, he is probably actually similar place to Yuki Tsunoda, not actually all that much quicker. So Ricciardo's going to have a bit of ground to make up. Well, actually, in today's race, he'll be fine. Tsunoda's actually going to be the one struggling because of the Parc Fermé regulations. If Tsunoda wanted to revert back to the old upgrade package, then he would have to start from the pit lane, which he's not going to do. So yeah, he's going to be stuck with the new upgrades that aren't really upgrades. They're actually slow down grades. Or degrades, actually, that's probably a better way to put it. And yeah, essentially, Tsunoda's going to have a bit of a long race this weekend. Colapinto, his first Formula One race, he qualified in 18th position, which is a great job for his first session. He what, you know, in Q1, he was only 2/10 behind Alex Albon. Of course, Alex Albon had quite a good quali, and he made himself up into 9th position, but yeah, Colapinto's first Grand Prix, he's got to stay out of trouble, maybe make a couple of good overtakes, and you know, bring it home for Williams. That's going to be the aim of the game. Okay. How the time is calculated between the drivers in the Grand Prix, I'm new to F1. They have timing towers and stuff, and essentially they have a bunch of sensors, and once the driver drives past a sensor, they start the stopwatch, and then they stop the stopwatch as soon as another driver comes across the sensor, and that's how they work out the timings. It's a bit of a simplified way of explaining it, but essentially that's how it works. Okay, oh yeah, 53 laps of racing at this circuit. So a little bit, Monza's a fairly long circuit, so we're only going to have 50 laps, not 70 laps or anything like that. Aston Martin gives McLaren Honda vibes to Alonso. Indeed, Alonso was complaining quite a bit yesterday. I think he said, oh, I'd rather have a new upgrade package or a new rear wing rather than a brain this weekend. So yeah, Fernando Alonso not happy with Aston Martin. There, you know, the thing with Aston Martin is they have brilliant upgrade packages at the start of the year. They are so quick at the start, but then as the time starts ticking on and you go a couple of races into the season, everyone else, their upgrades mid-season are fantastic, whereas Aston Martins are just nowhere to be seen. So, yeah, I don't know. F1 Gamer, do you think Red Bull can make a comeback? Please share your thoughts. Well, I'm going to say Red Bull can make a comeback. Their race pace was very strong in the Friday practice sessions. If Verstappen can get maybe 1 or 2 places gained on the race start, then he's going to be, he's going to be in a good position to DRS past Leclerc and Russell. We do have a longer DRS zone this weekend as well, which means that a longer DRS zone is going to essentially mean that overtaking is slightly easier. Last year, we did have quite a few problems where the drivers would have DRS, they would gain, but they would not be close enough to get an overtake. So DRS has been extended down the main straight. That should help overtaking. And yeah, Verstappen, we know he's a good, hard racer, and you know, if he's got to get his elbows out to get past Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc, he will do so. But I think today it's going to be a special Grand Prix. I think the first time in a long time in Formula One, we may have a 3-way or a 4-way battle for the lead of this race. I don't think the McLarens are going to run away with it like they did in Holland or like they did at Zandvoort. At Zandvoort they were very, very quick. The race pace indicated that, but this weekend they were quick in quali. They managed to get their tyres up into the correct range, but in race conditions, everyone looks so identical. It's tough to say. It all depends on the race start. Who's going to have a good race start and who's going to be able to get ahead. All right. There we go. We have a couple of team radios coming through. 17 minutes now till the start of the formation lap, and 1 minute till the national anthem. They'll have the Italian national anthem play, and then we will have the drivers will make their way to their cars, put on their helmets and balaclavas, and go racing. Is there a chance Colapinto and Magnussen might crash? I mean, there definitely is, but Colapinto's in 18th, Magnussen is in 13th. They're a little bit far away from each other. I think there's a much more likely chance that Verstappen and Hamilton have a crash going into turn number 1. Oh wow, we've reached our light goal. That is fantastic. I think Verstappen and Hamilton, it's much more likely that they are going to have a crash going into turn number 1. Verstappen is not going to be looking to lose any places. He's going to be looking to attack, maybe gain 2-3 places on the start of the race, and Hamilton will not concede position. You know, he's already beaten himself up a lot. He was very dejected at the end of qualifying. He was saying, oh, I just can't qualify anymore. And he wasn't able to put a lap together. And yeah, he's not going to be looking to lose any sort of positions off the race start, and we'll have to wait and see what Verstappen can do. Also, another thing is that from the start, from the grid at where Lando Norris will be starting from pole, all the way towards the first chicane, there is a 600-meter run. That's one of the longer runs in the Formula One season. Normally the run is maybe 400 or 350 meters or so, but this time 600-meter run down into turn number one. It's going to be absolutely critical that Lando Norris can get a good start, but if not, Russell, Leclerc are in prime position to slipstream past the McLaren and get an overtake done into turn number one. Yeah. Which team has the best race pace? McLaren do have the best simulated race pace, but Mercedes were 1/10 behind them, and so were Ferrari, and so were Red Bull. The risk of rain is 40%, apparently. I did not check the weather, actually. It said that it would be dry. Let me just check on my phone once again. We've got a message from Race Control saying the risk is 40%, but Race Control often, I don't know where they get the weather from, but most of the time it's pretty inaccurate. So let me just check Monza weather. I mean, if it starts raining, I can't complain, but no, I don't know where Race Control have got their weather from, because if you look it up on Google, Monza weather, it says excessive heat warning, and it says 0% chance of rain for the next 4 hours. So the chance of a safety car probably a much higher. In fact, let me just check up the chance of the safety car. Chance of a safety car, 50%. Chance of a virtual safety car, 40%. The drivers lose 23 seconds in the pit lane if they pit under green flag conditions. They lose 15 seconds in the pit lane if they pit under safety car or virtual safety car conditions. So 8 seconds gained if you pit under the safety car. And, if the safety car comes out, we will probably see quite a few drivers coming into the pits. Do you think there will be a safety car today? I think there will. We haven't had a safety car in the previous 6 races. Surprisingly clean, surprisingly no issues whatsoever in the previous 6 races. But Monza, of course, I think there's a chance of potential brake failures. We saw, I think, Vettel in 2020. He was driving for the Ferrari team. Ferrari like to go absolutely all the way to the limit at their home Grand Prix. They've won 19 races at Monza, Ferrari have, which is quite mind-blowing, the most of any team at any single circuit. And yeah, they run tiny brake ducts, and Vettel's brakes were getting too hot. He had a brake failure going into turn number 1. He had to stop on the side of the track, and boom, there's a safety car deployed. So, yeah, we'll wait and see what happens. Any chance of a 3-stopper? I think a 3-stopper is a little bit unlikely, unless there are multiple safety cars. I think a 3-stopper is not going to happen. What about Albon? It's Monza. Don't Williams have a great straight line speed, or is it still a tractor as usual? No, Williams do have great straight line speed. Albon is fantastic at Monza. I think he's got into Monza Q3 for the previous 3 occasions, which is brilliant from Alex Albon. And yeah, I think that he will potentially be able to stay in the top 10. It's going to be a tall order, given that the top 4 teams are a cut above the rest, so there's only 2 slots in the top 10 remaining, P9 and P10. Albon and Hülkenberg occupy them for now. We'll see who occupies them after 53 laps of racing. Once again, folks, if you don't know, Kimi Antonelli has been confirmed to be driving for Mercedes next year. He'll be driving alongside George Russell. Kimi Antonelli is a Formula 2 rookie. He graduated, in fact, he won the European Karting Championship in 2021. He won Formula 4 in 2022. He won Formula Renault in 2023. And now he is in... And in 2025, now he's in Formula 2, and in 2025 he'll be driving for Formula 1 at Mercedes. Yeah. All right. Here we go then. It is happy birthday to the smooth operator. Yeah, Carlos Sainz's birthday today, his 30th birthday. He'll be celebrating at Monza with Ferrari. And here we go. All right, yeah, I don't think the chance of rain is particularly accurate at the Monza circuit, but we'll wait and see. Okie dokes. I think the radio message is delayed. Yeah, they're a little bit delayed, but they'll come through. The delay stops once the race begins, and we get all of the radios from all of the drivers. So we're not long till we get underway for some racing. Folks, if you haven't hit the like button, if you haven't subscribed, please be sure to do so. It massively helps out the channel, and hopefully we can get to maybe 95,000 subscribers this weekend. That would be a spectacular achievement. All right then, let's get ready to go racing. So, love this channel. Now watch and listen here instead of the BBC audio stream. Well, that is very much appreciated. Hope you do enjoy the stream. Yeah, once again, track temperature, now that's gone up to 54 degrees. Air temperature up 1 more degree to 34 degrees. So everything getting hotter here at Monza. The drivers have got their ice packs on and they've got their umbrellas out to protect them from the sun. The circuit is going to be extremely hot. And one thing to keep in mind, any of the drivers with odd numbers, so Lando Norris, George Russell, won first position, third position, all of those drivers, they will have the clean side of the grid, whereas all of the drivers with even numbers, like Oscar Piastri and Charles Leclerc, they will be on the dirty side of the grid. So there will be a slight benefit to everyone who is starting on the odd side, because they will have the clean part of the circuit, whereas the other drivers will have the dirty part of the circuit. Not that big of a difference, and also you have to take into account they'll be slipstreaming all the way down into turn number 1, so it won't make a massive difference, but the critical, the first 50, 100 meters, the traction phase, it is key for those drivers on the left-hand side. They're going to have a very good getaway. So, yeah. Okie dokes. What else have we got to talk about? Well, of course, we have got the main talking point here, the Ferraris. Will they be able to win at their home Grand Prix? Only time will tell. Charles Leclerc, of course, won here in 2019, but since then, that has not been replicated. We had Pierre Gasly win in 2020, the McLaren won too in 2021, and then Verstappen in 2022 and 2023. Verstappen, in fact, won here last year, starting from 7th position, so the odds slightly in Verstappen's favour, but last year's car was so much more dominant than this year's car, so we'll wait and see what Verstappen can do, but it's going to be a long, tough race for everyone. They're going to be pushed to the absolute limit and beyond. So let's see. Can you take us around the track? That is a very good suggestion. All right, so we have got the Monza circuit. It has been totally resurfaced this year, and the drivers, of course, they'll be starting from the grid here, make their way down towards turn number 1. The drivers break around the 100-meter mark. Turn number 1 has been widened this year, so you can go 3 wide. Previously, you could only get away with 2 wide. This year, 3 wide into turn number 1, so we're going to have a whole lot of action there. Then you go through turn number 2. The main thing here is you just get a good exit. You don't want to be driving over the curb. The curb gives you a little bit less grip than normal. You just want to get a good exit, straight line the car. Then you go through Curva Grande, which is turn number 3. And once again, another chicane at turn number 4. The drivers use a bridge on top of them as the brake marker board. They slam on the brakes and go all over the curbs this year. The curbs are much flatter than they were in previous years, and because of that, the drivers are able to just go right over them and kind of cut the corner. But most of the time, the FIA does not, care really. Then after the second chicane, you go towards Lesmo 1 and Lesmo 2. You've got turn number 6, a very tricky corner. You got to ease onto the brakes, trail brake your way in, carry some speed, and then straight back onto the throttle. Turn number 7, it's very important to get a good exit out of there because you've got another DRS zone on the exit of turn number 7. You make your way to the Ascari chicane, and the Ascari chicane this year is so quick. The drivers are flat through turn number 9 and 10, the second part of the chicane. They dab of the brakes, flick the car left, and then you're back onto throttle through 9 and 10, and you're powering down the main straight towards the final corner, the Parabolica. And once again, we've seen a few drivers here lose the car. We saw Kimi Antonelli lose the car. We saw Franco Colapinto lose the car. I think Sainz had some issues, and so did Kevin Magnussen over the course of this weekend. It's a very tricky. At Monza, you have low downforce rear wings, low downforce front wings, and the car's not as stable as it usually is. So if you flick the car in, the rear of the car might spin round. So let's wait and see if anything like that happens today. But then, of course, you exit Parabolica, you make your way down the main straight once again with DRS, which we have a longer DRS zone this year, so that should be fantastic for some racing. And Let's wait and see what happens. We've got 5 minutes now till the start of the Grand Prix. Folks, if you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. And if you have not subscribed, then be sure to do that as well. I'll be commentating the next Grand Prix. I'll be commentating the next qualifying session as well at Baku in 2 weeks' time. But let's shift our focus to Monza this weekend. There have been so many spectacular battles. Sebastian Vettel versus Lewis Hamilton, Kimi Raikkonen versus Lewis Hamilton. And then we've had the McLarens fighting last year, the Ferraris fighting last year for the final podium position. Of course, in 2021, we had Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen get on top of each other going into the first chicane. 2019, we had Charles Leclerc managing to hold off Lewis Hamilton for the lead of this race. So we have had spectacular moments here at the Temple of Speed in Monza, and I have a feeling that this race is going to be another one on the highlight reel that the drivers and the fans will be looking back in 10 years' time being like, we should have another race like this one. Let's wait and see. All right, starting in 4 minutes' time, we're getting radio checks and messages from the drivers coming through very, very shortly. Here we go then. The drivers, the McLaren drivers especially, they are checking their brakes, they're checking their clutches, making sure everything is dialed in as optimally as possible. McLaren have committed to changing their optimization settings for the race start. All of the other teams have fairly similar settings, or at least it looks like they have fairly similar settings because their race starts are all good. McLaren were struggling. Both Norris and Piastri lost positions at the start of the Dutch Grand Prix because their starts were too slow. So hopefully McLaren has fixed those issues. Hopefully not for some other people, and we could have a great battle going into the start of this race. But here we are now at Monza, round number 16 of 24. We're 2/3 of the way through the season. Monza in Italy near Milan, and the Tifosi are out in full force. The grandstands are absolutely packed, and every single time a Ferrari drives around you can hear an enormous cheer from the fans. We'll have 53 laps of racing around this 5.7 kilometre long circuit. The top speeds here will be reaching 360 kilometres an hour with some DRS and slipstream. We have 11 corners here, and it's what can I say? We're going to have a spectacular race. The tyres that we've got are the C5, the C4 and the C3 for the soft, medium and hard respectively. The pace difference between the soft and the medium is 0.3. The pace difference between the medium and the hard is 0.2. It's going to be a very exciting race. The predicted race strategy by Pirelli is start the race on the mediums, then go on to the hards, but I don't think Pirelli took into account track temperature today, 54 degrees Celsius. It looks like we're going to have a two-stop race. There's going to be issues with undercuts, there's going to be issues with overcuts, and we had all of this action last weekend in Monza, last year in Monza, and that is going to be repeated once again. I cannot wait for the start of this race. We're 2 minutes now from the beginning of the formation lap. Folks, let me know who you think is going to win this race. We've got 9,000 people tuned into the live stream already. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. And let's wait and see what will happen. It's a huge chance for Lando Norris to cut down the championship points to Max Verstappen. Ooh, this is interesting. What has happened here? Verstappen and Perez both start the race on hard tyres. Everyone in the top 14 is starting the race on the mediums, except for Verstappen and Perez. What is going on here? I'm not sure what this race strategy is, but they're maybe predicting a sort of safety car coming up. I don't know why you would start the race on hards, because you are going to have a worse getaway. Maybe, the chance of getting a position or two off the race start is going to be so much smaller if you're on the hards and your opponents are on the mediums. Okay, let's wait and see though. We've got a massive team radio message there through Franco Colapinto. But yeah, a radio check, and they'll be getting going in 2 minutes' time. I'm going to turn off this countdown timer, in fact. No, I'll just leave it up for now. And here we go then, folks. 10,000 people tuned into live stream, 11,000 people. That is very much appreciated, folks. And once again, be sure to hit the like button, be sure to subscribe. But let's get into this Grand Prix. Okay. In fact, I'm going to have a quick sip of water. I'm going to have to commentate quite a lot here. We're going to have so much racing going on. So yeah, I'm going to have some water. I'll be back in 20 seconds. I don't know what these numbers are coming through. I think these are the laps to the grid. So you can probably just ignore that. That doesn't really matter too much. All right, there it is. Then we're getting all the team radio messages saying 1 minute or so, and the messages are delayed a little bit, so it'll be only 30 seconds till we have the drivers making their way out onto the circuit for the formation lap. All the engineers have moved to the side of the track, and not long now till we have everyone warming up their tyres, getting their brakes up into temperature, dialing in the correct clutch settings, and getting ready to go racing. All right. Here it is. We have got the McLarens versus the Mercedes versus the Ferraris versus the Red Bulls here at the Monza Grand Prix circuit. This is the 75th race here in Monza. We've had the closest qualifying session in Formula One history. The drivers in the top 6 within 0.2 of a second. That has never happened before. It will probably never happen again. And we have got a spectacular race on our hands today. The drivers make their way around for the first time for the formation lap, and everyone weaving around the tyres and weaving around, getting some tyre temperature built up. Why does Tsunoda and Stroll have used tyres? They're just using used tyres. They did 1 lap in practice, and it doesn't really matter too much. That's why they're using the set of used tyres. So let's wait and see. I think what Red Bull have essentially done is they've just said, we might not have the race pace, but we're going to go for a different strategy. Hopefully we can beat you on terms of strategy, and that's why they started the race on a set of hard tyres. I don't know. Only time will tell what is the best strategy. So let's wait and see. Who will win the World Drivers' Championship? I don't know. Will Red Bull win the World Constructors' Championship? I don't think so. McLaren are coming in full force. They have got so many points this season, and Red Bull are down in 7th and 8th. McLaren are up in 1st and 2nd. Will Verstappen even hold on to his driver's title? That is up in the air now. Only time will tell. But here comes Lando Norris. He's coming through Ascari now. He's got those brakes up into the temperature range, and he'll be being told over the radio to do some burnouts, get those rear tyres up into the correct temps, get the brakes up into the correct temps as well. We've got the weekend attendance at Monza. 335,000 fans have attended the Monza Grand Prix this year, and all of them, well, not all of them, but most of them will be cheering for the Ferrari duo of Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz. Carlos Sainz's birthday today. Let's wait and see what he can do. And yeah, we'll be starting the race from 5th position. Okie dokes. 17,000, 18,000 people tuned into the live stream. That is spectacular, folks. Hope you guys are enjoying. And the drivers are now making their way to the grid for the formation lap. Franco Colapinto going a little slowly there, getting all of the settings dialed in on the steering wheel. You've got to give huge props to Colapinto. In the space of 1 week, he's learned every single setting on a Formula One steering wheel, and now he's going to be taking part in his first Grand Prix. Let's wait and see how he does. We're getting very close to 2,000 likes before the race has even started. That is very much appreciated, folks. Thank you everyone for hitting the like button and subscribing. But here we go now. We're going to have a brilliant Grand Prix. Lando Norris and Piastri have lined up at the front of the grid. The brakes are smoking as they always do at Monza. And then we've got Russell, Leclerc, Sainz and Hamilton all behind, queued up and ready to go. Max Verstappen has in fact pointed his car already to the center of the circuit. He's looking to dart through the middle of Hamilton and Sainz. It's going to be a massive uphill challenge for the Red Bulls, but let's wait and see what the current World Drivers' Championship World's Drivers' Champion can do. All right. Here we go. The final drivers are approaching the grid. The medical car makes his way to the back as well. All of the drivers' lights are flashing. Colapinto, Zhou and Bottas make their way to the grid. The marshal at the back of the black is waving the green flag. We do have 1 light. We have 2 lights. We have 3, 4, 5 lights. It is lights out and away we go. Do the McLarens get a good start? There they are. They are side by side. Piastri's got a bad start. Russell's side by side with him. Going into turn number 1. Norris has got a good start. Piastri into turn number 2. And Norris holds the lead. Oh, Russell's made a mistake. He's gone off and he goes through the chicane, and it's 1-2 for the McLarens. George Russell, can he hold on to that third place? No, he can't. Charles Leclerc steams past him into third place, and so does Carlos Sainz. It's a Ferrari 3-4, and Russell, after a great qualifying, is down 4 positions. And Piastri gets ahead of Norris. What a move into turn number 2. Norris was not expecting it from his teammate, and now he's under pressure from Leclerc, and Leclerc gets ahead of Norris. Piastri into first place, Leclerc into second, and Norris once again has had a terrible race start, and Carlos Sainz is all over the back of him. Oh my god, what an overtake from Oscar Piastri. He's got his elbows out, got ahead of his teammate, and now he's leading the Monza Grand Prix. We've got Charles Leclerc chasing him down, coming towards Ascari. Now, we've got 21,000 people tuned into the live stream. That is spectacular, folks. But this race is going to be even better. And there's an incident at the back of the pack. One of the Hasses is going slowly. There's a lot of dust kicked up on the outside. And yeah, that is Nico Hulkenberg, after a great appearance in Q3 yesterday, he's had a bad start. He's lost 4 positions. Not ideal there. He loses 6 positions. He's going very, very slowly. And Piastri leads the way. DRS will be enabled on this lap. Verstappen over the radio saying Lewis didn't leave the car width. I mean, he got a penalty. Okay, so once again, Verstappen said Lewis didn't leave a car width. I got a penalty for that, so I mean Lewis should get one as well. That's what Verstappen thinks. Russell gets ahead of Sergio Perez though into turn number 2. Russell already on a permission to make up some positions, and DRS has been enabled, and as the drivers make their way out of Lesmo 2, DRS will be acting in full force. And look at that. The top 5 drivers, the top 6 drivers, we're going to have a massive DRS strain. Everyone from first position down to 12th is all within 1 second of each other. Wow. All right, and look at that. Carlos Sainz purple in the first sector. He had the benefit of the tow and the slipstream, so let's wait and see what he can do up against Lando Norris ahead of him. This is going to be very, very exciting. Franco Colapinto did get ahead of Lance Stroll, so nicely done there from Colapinto in his first Grand Prix. Managed to get ahead of someone on the opening lap. Fantastic job from him. And let's wait and see. We are going to have a 3-way battle for the lead of this race. Piastri versus Leclerc versus Norris. And I think Sainz is on the back of Norris here, coming out of the Parabolica corner. And Sainz is quite close to Norris. Piastri sets the fastest lap of the race, and Leclerc can't even gain on him. What is going on here? And also, I'd like to point out, Verstappen here on the hard tyres is managing to stay with Lewis Hamilton. So nicely done there from Verstappen, even though he is on the slower tyres by 0.2 of a second, 0.3 of a second. He's staying behind Hamilton. Perez comes over the radio saying Russell has damage. There has been damage to Russell's car. When he went off at turn number 1, he damaged his car. And Perez is coming over the radio saying, oh, it's not safe. Russell has to come into the pits. We'll see if the FIA does anything about that, but that should be kept in mind. George Russell has got a damaged car. All right, the gap up at the front is 0.6 of a second, and look at that. Leclerc has broke DRS on Lando Norris. Norris falling foul of the DRS detection point, and he's now more than a second behind Charles Leclerc. He's not going to have DRS down the Ascari straight, and we'll see what he can do going into Parabolica. All right. Here we go then. Let me know, folks, who you think is going to win this race. Will it be Oscar Piastri? Will he be able to hold on to this lead for the remaining 50 laps of this Grand Prix, or will it be someone else? There has been an incident noted between Hulkenberg and Ricciardo causing a collision. Ricciardo may have a penalty coming his way. We'll have to wait and see. I haven't seen the replay as of yet. Sergio Perez in 8th position. He's looking to gain on George Russell, but Russell is managing to hold on. He even goes a little bit onto the grass here, trying to extend track limits as much as he possibly can, and he goes onto the grass ever so slightly. Russell is really pushing hard. He's got a damaged car, but he's managing to hang on for now. We'll see how he can do for the remaining of this first stint. Okie dokes, what a race start this has been. What happened to Norris? I don't know. He's just at a fastest lap of the race. He catches up a little bit to Charles Leclerc, and yeah, I don't know. We'll see if he doesn't have DRS once again though, and Sainz is now going to be trying to catch up to him. Both Ferraris have got DRS on both McLarens, and the McLarens don't have any DRS in front of them. So yeah, the McLarens may be sitting ducks here at Monza. DRS is actually much less effective than normal. You would think at a high-speed circuit DRS would be more effective, but because the wings and the rear wings and the front wings are so small, the effect of DRS is quite minimal. And the drivers only gain 10 or 12 kilometers per hour going through with DRS. So let's wait and see with what Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz can do. But it would be fantastic to have two Ferraris on the podium at Monza. It would be a dream come true for the Ferrari fans. So let's wait and see what will happen. We're on lap number 5 of 53. And yeah, Charles Leclerc had a fantastic race start, managed to get ahead of Lando Norris. All right. Let's keep an eye out on these radio messages as well. We could get some useful information from the radio saying, oh, yeah, there we go. Hulkenberg's got some front brake damage. They're checking that. And, yeah, we'll have to wait and see. All right, but Verstappen still holding his own there with the hard tyres, managing to stay ahead of George Russell. Yeah, Russell's got quite a bit of damage. His end plate has completely fallen off. So not ideal there for George Russell. He had that with a little bit of contact. I think it was with Lando Norris going into turn number 1. Piastri sets the fastest lap of the race. Nicely done. He's not got even any DRS, but he still set the fastest lap of the race. So very good job there from Oscar Piastri. Leclerc's got the fastest middle sector there, and he's looking to keep Piastri within his DRS range. So let's wait and see. Fast lap of the race goes to Charles Leclerc, and he's got the DRS on Piastri, and Sainz falls out of DRS of Lando Norris. Now the drivers up at the front all spreading apart, but Charles Leclerc is not giving up just yet. He's got another fastest lap of the race. He's 4 tenths behind Piastri, which is the closest he has ever been, and we'll see if he can get a move done. We've got Nico Hülkenberg coming into the pits. They're assessing the damage for Yuki Tsunoda. Tsunoda has got some damage as well. They're replacing the front wing for Nico Hülkenberg, and I think they're putting out a fire in his front brake duct. So, yeah, let's wait and see what happens to Nico Hülkenberg. The front wing is tightened, and he comes out of the pits, but it's going to be a very slow pit stop, and he's going to need a safety car to save him, I think. Hulkenberg, what happened to him? He locked up and then crashed into Tsunoda. That's what happened with, or was it Ricciardo? I'm not sure. Oh, no, it was Tsunoda. So, yeah, Tsunoda's got pretty big damage from that, and Hulkenberg came into the pits and lost a lot of time as well. All right, we're getting pretty close to 300 likes, folks. If you could hit the like button, that would be fantastic. And we're 1,000 subscribers away from 95k. So if you haven't hit the like button, then that would be appreciated as well. Oh my God, look at that. Charles Leclerc, Oscar Piastri, the exact same lap time. I've never seen this before. The 2 fastest laps, they're 2 purple laps for both Leclerc and Piastri because they've both set the identical fastest lap. I mean, this can you get any more exciting than this Grand Prix? And Sainz is once again within DRS of Lando Norris, a purple middle sector for Carlos Sainz, and the Ferraris are chasing down the McLarens. We may have an undercut coming. We may have an undercut brewing. The undercut did work out for Lando Norris last year. He managed to undercut his teammate Oscar Piastri. So I have a feeling Sainz is going to try and undercut Norris, and Leclerc is going to try and undercut Piastri. We are approaching, well, we're halfway there to the pit stop window. The pit stop window is around about lap number 20. So let's wait and see what the drivers will do. Okay, it's under investigation between Ricciardo and Hulkenberg. I think it was a mistake from Ricciardo, to be honest. A mistake from Hulkenberg. Hulkenberg essentially just made a mistake. He locked up going into turn number 1 and then crashed into Tsunoda. And there's another incident between Ricciardo and Hulkenberg, and that's also under investigation. So, Yeah, well, not a great race for Nico Hülkenberg. He had a brilliant quali yesterday and got up into 10th position in Q3, but unfortunately, not enough. Not a good race start. All right, they've come over the radio to Max Verstappen. This is the race strategy that Red Bull have decided. They have said, just keep it like this and make sure they push the medium tires very hard. So you can give the hard tire a much harder beating than you can the medium tire. And Verstappen is setting the exact same lap times that Lewis Hamilton and George Russell are, but he's doing it on the hards, and the medium tires are being pushed much, much harder, and the race will come to Max Verstappen. The strategy, the Hannah Schmidt strategy from the Red Bull team, seems like it might work out. Sainz has dropped back off the back of Lando Norris. That's not working well for him. Yuki Tsunoda has retired from the race, folks. If we could have a singular F in the chat from everyone for Yuki Tsunoda, he has just retired from today's race after significant damage from his contact with Nico Hülkenberg. Ooh, look at that. Oscar Piastri's car dancing around a little bit on the exit of Ascari. The rear is twitching a little bit, and those medium tires are coming. Well, they're going to be feeling the heat. Track temperature 49 degrees. And yeah, it's not great there for Piastri. We're going to see more and more sliding, and he's got to keep this under control. Otherwise, he's got a red scarlet Ferrari right in his mirrors. All right. Thank you everyone for the Fs in the chat. But yeah, Tsunoda's into the pits now, and he's retired from this race. Okie dokes. We have got 27,000 people watching the live stream. That is fantastic. Hope you guys are all enjoying the coverage here. We are 0.8 away from... Leclerc is 0.8 away from Lando Norris. Let's wait and see what he can do. A 5-second time penalty has been given to someone. Ooh, a 10-second time penalty for Nico Hülkenberg for causing a collision. A 5-second time penalty for Daniel Ricciardo. Not ideal there for those two drivers. Ricciardo, that was his mistake, and Hülkenberg another mistake for him. But can you penalise a guy for just making a mistake? I guess it was kind of unsafe, so fair enough. But a 10-second time penalty, you probably could have gotten away with a 5-second one. All right. Wow, what a Grand Prix this has been so far. Lap number 9 of 53, and Leclerc is still in DRS of Oscar Piastri. Piastri is pushing that car to the limit every single time he sets a first sector. He is always improving. He's really pushing those medium tyres very hard. Leclerc takes the fastest lap of the race away from Piastri, and wow. All right. Here we go then, lap number 10, and we have got Fernando Alonso in 10th position. He's managed to get that 10th place off Nico Hülkenberg, and he was in 11th in quali yesterday, and now he's up into 10th. Folks, that is enough Fs in the chat. If you do type any more, then you will be getting a ban coming your way. All right. So, oh wow, we've blown past our like target, so I guess we go all the way up to 4,000. I'll just put it at 5,000 likes because I'm sure you guys will hit the like button. And yeah, Hülkenberg really lagging behind now. We'll wait and see if there's a safety car to help him out. But in the previous 6 races of this season, we have not had a single safety car. All right. So what else have we got going on? Charles Leclerc, fastest lap of the race, and Piastri takes the fastest middle sector. It's always cat and mouse between these two guys, but Leclerc finally drops out of DRS of Piastri. Piastri, after 11 laps of pushing those medium tyres to the absolute limit, he has managed to drop Charles Leclerc from DRS, and a single mistake going through the second chicane or through Ascari, and he will be lose out massively. All right. Let's wait and see. We've got an overtake going on here. Who is that? Daniel Ricciardo gets overtaken by Kevin Magnussen. A sensational overtake from Kevin Magnussen. So precise in his car placement. Daniel Ricciardo could do absolutely nothing about it. And Kevin Magnussen is now chasing down Fernando Alonso for 10th position. The Haas team have a very good race pace here. And... yeah, really struggling. Well, Nico Hulkenberg's really struggling, of course, but yeah, we'll wait and see what Kevin Magnussen can do. He's going to chase down Fernando Alonso. Alonso hasn't got DRS on Alex. Oh, in fact, he's just got DRS here off Alex Albon. That's going to help him out a little bit. Albon having a pretty good race so far. Oh, we've got the Mercedes crew bringing out a front wing. George Russell's coming in for an early pit stop here. He's going to try and undercut the Mercedes team. And yeah, all right. Wow. So, he's going to try and undercut the Red Bull team, sorry. But George Russell, he's got his damaged front wing. He has to come into the pits now to get it replaced soon enough. And that is that. Okie dokes. Overtake Perez-Russell. Well, yeah, Russell dives into the pits though. They've replaced the front wing, changed his tyres. He's on a set of hard tyres. A 10-second pit stop for George Russell really has compromised his race. All right, let's wait and see though. What can he do once he comes out of the pits? He's going to have a lot of clean air ahead of him. So he's going to just, foot flat to the floor, maximum attack for George Russell. And that is, that's the aim of the game for now. He's going to try and undercut Sergio Perez and Max Verstappen. He's going to have the fresher hard tyres, so that might work out for him, but only time will tell. Well, his lap times will tell. That's what's going to happen. So, yeah, an early pit stop for him, but the other drivers will be pitting in around 4, 5 or 6 laps time. Yeah, right, I'm going to have a quick sip of water, and yeah, I'll be back in 20 seconds. But lap number 13 of 53, sorry, and we've got Piastri in first position, 2 seconds ahead of Charles Leclerc. We're going to have a massive strategy game now. Sainz is going to try and undercut Norris, Leclerc trying to undercut Piastri. Who's going to come into the pits first? Only time will tell, but it's well, we've got a very exciting strategy battle on our hands now. And Alonso, the first one to dive into the pits. He is pitting on those medium tyres onto a set of hards for Fernando Alonso. Yes, it is a set of hard tyres for the Spaniard, and he comes out of pits. A quick pit stop from the Aston Martin crew. Very nice. All right. So, yeah, Alonso comes out of the pits just ahead of George Russell. How has he done that? Oh, yeah, Russell, of course, he had his 10-second pit stop because he was changing his front wing. So, yeah. George Russell, he was in, where was he? He was in 8th position when he came into the pits, but because of his pit stop and because they had to replace his front wing, he is down into, he's down in a net 11th position, so he loses three places. Ooh, I just thought Lando Norris was going to dive into the pits there, but apparently not. It would have been interesting to come into the pits so early in the race, but those medium tyres are going to be feeling the heat. Oh my god, look at this. Lando Norris now. He's got DRS on Charles Leclerc, and Leclerc, he was within 1 second of Piastri, but the issue with being 1 second behind another driver, your rear tyres and front tyres massively start to overheat. Leclerc, I think, also made a mistake. Oh no, Norris made a mistake, in fact. But he's still within DRS range of Charles Leclerc. And yeah, Charles Leclerc's tyres now, they are going to be feeling the heat. And now, instead of directing his attention forward, trying to overtake Oscar Piastri, he's got to direct his attention behind him and try to keep Lando Norris behind. Norris has got DRS. He is going to be gaining on Charles Leclerc. So let's wait and see what will happen. The McLarens have managed to, keep their tyres in reasonably good conditions. So, Norris has got a fairly decent chance of overtaking Charles Leclerc. Here they go down the back straight now towards Parabolica. Lando Norris is gaining every single meter they drive, and they go into Parabolica. Both cars as stable as ever. Norris comes over the radio. What does he say? Oh, they've said box to overtake for Lando Norris. He comes into the pits. Oh, a massive lockup. Has Lando Norris just sped in the pit lane? A massive lockup as Norris dived into the pit lane. Did he exceed the pit lane speed limit? If he did, that's a 5-second time penalty coming to Lando Norris. We're going to have to keep an eye on that from the FIA. But Norris dives into the pits after the radio message from his team saying box to overtake. All right. Here we go. Piastri's come over the radio saying understeer is getting worse as the tyres get older and older. The understeer gets gets stronger and stronger, and they're gonna have to drive around that for the current part of this race. Okie dokes. Here comes Lando Norris. What can he do? Can he get ahead of Esteban Ocon going into the second chicane? Yes, he can. Nice overtake there. Ocon didn't fight it too much. He knows this is not his battle to fight. All right. 29,000 people tuned into live stream, folks. If you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. If you have not subscribed, be sure to do that as well. Hopefully we can hit 95k this weekend. That would be spectacular, and that would put us on trajectory to hit 100k by Baku. Yeah. All right. Franco Colapinto is up into 11th position. That is of course because he hasn't pit, but nonetheless a good first couple of laps in a Formula 1 Grand Prix for Franco Colapinto. We've got Charles Leclerc into the pits now. Leclerc into the pits. Ferrari reacting to what Lando Norris did. He comes out on a set of hard tyres. Leclerc comes into the pits. So does Lewis Hamilton. And it's a 2.5 second stop for Leclerc. A 2.3 second stop for Lewis Hamilton. And will Leclerc come out ahead of Lando Norris? I don't think he will. Nope. Leclerc loses that position. Well, actually, he never had that position in the first place. He manages to stay out ahead of Esteban Ocon, and Charles Leclerc, he's now got fresh tyres to try and chase down Lando Norris. Oh no, Leclerc was in second, and he's lost that. They undercut Lando Norris. The undercut worked for them, and Norris is now up into a net second place. Wow. I totally missed that, but the undercut has just worked for Lando Norris. It worked for him last year to overtake his teammate. It's worked for him this year, and Charles Leclerc has been overtaken by Lando. What a turn of events. Ferrari at their home race messing up the strategy. Can you get more Ferrari than that? I don't think so. All right, Oscar Piastri's got to come into the pits very, very soon. In fact, if he doesn't come into the pits, then he could have a penalty coming. Well, he's not going to have a penalty. Oh, the data is just lagging there. There we go. Oscar Piastri's into the pits. Yeah, all right, he could get undercut by Charles Leclerc here. There's a serious chance. He could get undercut by his teammate as well. I don't know why they do this. Why do they give Lando Norris priority when Piastri's in the lead of this race? Is Piastri going to come out in first place? Is he going to be stuck behind his teammate Lando Norris? Let's wait and see. He comes out of the pits. He heads towards turn number 1. Lando Norris is a good chunk behind him. And Piastri maintains the lead of this race. Or maintains the net lead of this race. Carlos Sainz going for a long stint here. And that, of course, the Red Bulls on the hard tyres, they're going to be going much, much longer. Oh, Charles Leclerc has just said, what was that? Why did we pit if we were going to get undercut? Leclerc angry at his team over the radio, and I mean, you can't blame him, can you? What they had to do was they had to go long and then try and overcut Lando Norris when, Lando Norris had done around 5 laps on his hard tyres, 5-6 laps. That's when they start to wear out a bit, and Leclerc would have come out on a fresh set, and that would have helped him out. But no, they did not do that, and Ferrari have messed up the race strategy once again. It's not looking good. And Norris, in fact, has gained on Oscar Piastri here. The gap is 1.6 seconds. Previously, before the pit stops, it was over 3 seconds. So Norris is going to try and get ahead of Oscar Piastri once again. This is going to be a fantastic battle. We may see team orders coming out like we did at Hungary. Orfen 1989, like last week, looking at Red Bull's chances now. Let me just read that message. This chat goes so quickly. Norris has title chances, so I guess DRS, Norris will get priority. Maybe he will. That probably explains it. But thank you for the €6 donation. Definitely does help out the channel. I think we've had someone just help out on Patreon as well. 32mm Matt has also joined the Patreon. Thank you for joining the Patreon, Matt. Yeah, if you are interested in joining the Patreon and helping out the channel, then go ahead and click the link in the description. All right, we've got 4,000 likes, folks. Thank you, everyone, for hitting the like button. Thank you, everyone, for subscribing. If we could hit 95k, that would be brilliant. Maybe even 96. We've got 32,000 people tuned into the live stream. What a spectacular race this has been so far. Lewis Hamilton gets ahead of Lance Stroll as they go into the second chicane. A fairly standard overtake there for Ricciardo, for Hamilton. And oh my God, this is not working out for Daniel Ricciardo. Ricciardo has got a 10-second time penalty again, and he's got that 10-second time penalty. Why has he got that? Because he failed to serve his penalty properly. The mechanics, I think they might have touched the car. I'm not sure what they did. Maybe, I'm not sure what the FIA counted. Maybe they counted 5.2 seconds or 4.9 seconds instead of a full 5-second pit stop. But Daniel Ricciardo has been given a 10-second time penalty for not serving his first time penalty properly. A horrible turn of events for Daniel Ricciardo. Charles Leclerc has got DRS on Lando Norris, but I feel like it's going to be a similar story to when he had DRS on Oscar Piastri. The McLarens just have that little bit extra pace that that the Ferraris don't, and yeah, Charles Leclerc is stuck in DRS and unable to get past. All right. Very, very unfortunate there for Daniel Ricciardo. Also, folks, I hope you guys aren't getting any adverts. I've been trying my best to block adverts from YouTube. So, you know, you guys don't get adverts halfway through a stream. Like, imagine someone's about to make an overtake and then you get an advert about, you know, car insurance. Like, why would you want that? So, if you do get an advert, let me know. But I've been trying to block them as much as possible. Sonoda retired for too much damage. He had a collision with Nico Hulkenberg and too much damage from him. We've got a replay of Max Verstappen going through Les Mode 2. Up onto the gravel he goes. A little bit of a twitch there, pushing the car a bit too hard. And yeah, and he stays on the circuit, but those hard tyres, they are starting to feel the wear now, and we've got Carlos Sainz into the pits. He'll come out, I think, behind Charles Leclerc. It's not worked out well for him. A quick pit stop nonetheless for a set of hard tyres, 2.4 seconds, and he comes out of the pits. He'll be behind Charles Leclerc. All right. So here we go then. Does Sainz make it out ahead of Lewis Hamilton? That is going to be the question. Yes, he is. Sainz is out ahead of Lewis Hamilton. The margins are very, very close, but Esteban Ocon holds them apart. Ocon is the deciding factor, the fact that Sainz hasn't just got overtaken here. Ocon was holding Lewis Hamilton back on the previous lap, and Hamilton now on the tail of Carlos Sainz. So let's wait and see what he can do. George Russell, he's got his damage repaired now, and yeah, we'll see if he can make some progress through the field. He's still got to overtake Bottas and Ocon before he makes his way to his teammate, and the gap is quite significant. All right. Red Bull is on the hard tyres. They are not 1-2. They are on the hard tyres. Once they do come into the pits, we will see them drop down the pack. Maybe they'll be going extremely long. Maybe they'll try a one-stop strategy. Track temperature is currently 46 degrees. It's dropped about 10 degrees since the start of the race. But I still don't know if that will be enough for the drivers to pull off a one-stop strategy. Here comes Lewis Hamilton. Carlos Sainz is in 6th position. It is his birthday. And let's wait and see. They've come over the radio to Max Verstappen saying you can pick up the pace. Let's wait and see. Verstappen's previous lap a 1:25.5. Charles Leclerc's fastest lap a 1:23.8. 2 seconds between those two drivers, and their fastest laps. So yeah, Verstappen's really got to pick up the pace there. Carlos Sainz under pressure here from Lewis Hamilton. He's got DRS as well, and we have got a battle brewing. And George Russell gets the overtake done on Valtteri Bottas, a fairly easy overtake for George, and he's now up into 10th position, or 9th position, sorry. But he's still got a 9-second gap to close up to Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton now makes his way through the second chicane. He's still on the tail of Carlos Sainz. And Norris, in fact, not able to catch up to Oscar Piastri. The gap only 1.6 seconds there, and he's been unable to close that up. All of the drivers are pushing extremely hard every single lap. They're going all the way to the limits of the curbs. So is Hamilton, so is Piastri, so is Sainz. Everyone pushing the car as hard as it will go, and the race strategy could be the deciding factor for this Grand Prix. K-Mag has been given has been noted for causing a collision. He locked up going into the second chicane, had contact with with Pierre Gasly, unfortunately. But yeah, the second time in today's race that we've seen a Haas lock up and crash into someone else. Nico Hülkenberg did it and got Yuki Tsunoda DNF'd, and now we've seen Kevin Magnussen do it. Honestly, Kevin Magnussen, why don't you go ahead and do that? If you could bring a safety car out, that would be spectacular. I think the Red Bull team would absolutely love you if you brought the safety car out. But yeah, no safety car in the previous 6 races, and still... we haven't had a safety car. We're approaching the halfway point of this Grand Prix. We've got Alonso overtaking Valtteri Bottas. Bottas has gone quite long on his set of hard tyres, but he's starting to feel the pain now. Those hard tyres coming to the end of their life. Orphan 1989, thank you for the €6 donation. Red Bull waiting for a safety car, but they forgot Williams will replace Logan Sargent. That is, very, very funny, isn't it? Yeah, once again, thank you for the second donation. Really are helping out the channel. All right. So, yeah, what a turn of events this has been. We've got Piastri in the lead of this race. Lando Norris with the fastest lap. He's trying to chase down his teammate, but he just cannot close that gap. And Piastri now, he's approaching the back of Perez. Oh, we've got one of the Red Bulls into the pits. Who's that? Max Verstappen dives into the pit lane, and the first of the Red Bull drivers to come into the pits. 23 laps of this race, 30 laps remaining. He puts on another set of hard tyres. Red Bull are... it's a slow pit stop. It's a slow pit stop for Red Bull, and it's 6.2 second pit stop. All the hard work that Max Verstappen put in, that has just gone right out of the window. And... he comes out on a set of hard tyres, so it's a confirmed 2-stop strategy for the Red Bull team. But, they've had a very slow pit stop there for Max Verstappen. Ooh, he would have come out ahead of Sainz, I think, if the pit stop wasn't slow. Where would he... Oh, no, he would have come out ahead of... Right on the tail of Hamilton, actually. Right between Hamilton and Sainz. But because of that slow pit stop, he's now got 4 seconds to catch up to Sainz and Hamilton. Very, very unfortunate there. We've got 34,000 people tuned into live stream. Folks, if you are enjoying the coverage, hitting the like button would be very much appreciated. It massively, massively helps out the channel. All right. I'd just like to say a thank you to the Code Monster, Tomaha46, Stefan Levenk. I think I said that right. Hopefully I did. And then Orphan 1989. We've got a couple of new members, of course, 32mm Matt and AJ as well. Thank you everyone for supporting the channel on the Patreon or the Buy Me a Coffee link. It really does massively help out the channel. All right, Sergio Perez dives into the pits now as well. Does he have a slow pit stop? No, he does not. A quick pit stop there for Sergio Perez, 2.8 seconds. And we've got Lando Norris with another fastest lap of the race. So this is the official race lead here, folks. This is the actual order of how things are going. If you ignore Esteban Ocon, because he still hasn't come into the pits yet, everyone else is in the correct position. All right. How has Perez come out behind Verstappen, even though Verstappen had a horribly slow pit stop? I don't know how that's happened. I think Perez was quite a bit behind Verstappen, actually. Yeah. All right. Verstappen looking to overtake Ocon here, and yeah, he gets the overtake done into the second chicane. Nice and straightforward. Ocon getting overtaken by a lot of drivers, but that's just the nature of his strategy. I think he's going for a one-stop here. He's been pushing these tyres to around about lap number 30, and then coming in for a set of mediums. But it's still going to be tough. Those medium tyres, the most anyone has done on a set of medium tyres is only 19 laps. So, yeah, a 2-stop strategy is going to be quite is quite likely. Yeah, Bottas and Ocon yet to pit. Everyone else has done their first round of pit stops. Piastri with the fastest lap of the race. He's looking to build that gap. Hopefully he can get this win at Monza, and get this fair and square without any team orders situations like they had at Hungary. K-Mag looks to overtake Pierre Gasly into Parabolica. Nicely done. We haven't seen an overtake there this race yet, and K-Mag's the first one to do it into Parabolica. Update on potential rain. Yeah, there was never any potential rain. No chance of rain there. I don't know what the FAA were talking about and where they were getting their weather radar, but no chance of rain whatsoever. A 10-second penalty has been given to Kevin Magnussen for causing a collision. That was between the incident of him and Pierre Gasly. He's just overtaken Gasly, but now he's got a 10-second time penalty. Not ideal there. Albon has just overtaken Valtteri Bottas, putting himself up into 11th position. Bottas losing places shortly. The best pit stop strategy, probably start the race on mediums, then go on to a set of hards, and then go on to another set of hards. Oh, brilliant. We have hit 5,000 likes. That is fantastic. I guess we go up to, 7,000. Why not? Very much do appreciate all the support, folks. Hope you are enjoying the race. Yeah, all right. Piastri, though, he's holding a 1.9 second gap over Lando Norris. Honestly, a safety car right now would excite things so much. Hamilton trying to overtake Carlos Sainz, but he's too far back, and the gap is over 1 second. He was closer to Sainz previously, but he's not been able to hold on to him, and the Ferrari does look slightly quicker than the Mercs in race trim, so it's looking good for the Ferraris. And I would once again like to take a moment to talk about the World Drivers' Championship. I think the World Constructors' Championship is firmly out of Red Bull's hands now. There is no way they are winning that. I think if the race finishes in the current positions as of now, in the current positions that they are on the circuit right now, then Red Bull will be like 2 or 3 points behind. McLaren will be 2 or 3 points behind Red Bull. So there's no chance that Red Bull win the constructors. The drivers, that is really up for debate here. Ooh, Dengen Driver, thank you for the $2 donation. Mash that like button. Thank you very, very much for pointing that out. And Max may be cooked, as many of you are saying in the chat. I don't know what's gone on there, but the Red Bull have just speedrun from the most dominant car in Formula 1 history, right? They won 10 races in a row, and now they are fourth fastest team. They're the fourth fastest team. Like, how is that happened? In the space of 1 year, they have lost so much performance. Ooh, look at this. Oscar Piastri, he's in the lead of this race. He's 2 seconds ahead of Lando Norris, and he is still lifting and coasting. Piastri pulling off, a very good race strategy here. He's still got an advantage over Norris, and he's lifting and coasting going into the first corner. Let's see what he does into the second chicane. Oh, they've just cut away from the telemetry, but I have a feeling Piastri is lifting and coasting to save fuel a little bit, just in case there's a safety car, so they can turn up the engine mode. All right, we've got one of the Aston Martins. Who is that? Fernando Alonso gets ahead of Esteban Ocon. The car is sparking. There's a orange dot underneath Fernando Alonso's car. I don't know what that is. Okay, sorry. Thank you for the €2 donation, €2.49. W stream. Well, that is very much appreciated. Thank you very, very much. All right. Also, folks, one thing I do have to say, because I'm contractually obligated to say it, if you guys are interested in getting F1 TV, the little advert that's playing in the top right, there is a link in the description. It gives me a bit of commission, helps out the channel. Oh, a massive lockup there from... who is that? Pierre Gasly. Pierre Gasly tries to get overtaken by Daniel Ricciardo. A enormous lockup. And... he loses the position to Danny Rick. But essentially, if you want to get F1 TV Pro, the link's in the description. It helps out the channel massively, and you get all of the onboards, all of the team radios, all of the telemetry. You get access to this data. Go ahead and check it out. But that's the end of the sponsor bit for the stream. The ad was tiny anyway, so it's fine. All right. Here we go then. Daniel Ricciardo going into the second chicane caused an enormous lockup for Gasly, and forced that mistake from him, and Gasly gave the position to Ricciardo. He knew the FAA would not have any of it, and he'd get a 5-second penalty if he didn't do that. So, yeah. All right. Here we go then, folks. We are past the halfway point of this race, and we have got Oscar Piastri in the lead. 2.5 seconds is the gap, though, and he's got the fastest lap of the race. Another fastest lap of the race. Oh, we've got another member on Patreon. Who is that? Andrew Eastwood. Thank you for supporting me on Patreon. Oh, and Gregory Big. Thank you for the donation as well. Wow, folks, thank you so much for all of the support. And honestly, we've got nearly 95,000 of you, and as Lewis Hamilton would say, hashtag blessed, hashtag grateful. Like, you guys are fantastic fans. And yeah, no, it's a pleasure commentating you guys. I hope you are enjoying. All right, now Norris has got the fastest lap. These guys just play cat and mouse here. Lando Norris. This is so similar to what we saw in 2021, where Verstappen and Hamilton, they would just give fastest laps taken a give and take every single lap. But now this time we've got Piastri and Norris doing it. All right. 2.2 seconds is the gap up at the front, and Charles Leclerc is holding Lando Norris very, very honest. And the issue for Lando Norris now is if he tries to overtake Oscar Piastri, which he is doing his absolute, full well, he's trying to overtake him. Any sort of overtake opportunity that he has, Charles Leclerc is going to be right there, right in his mirrors. So yeah. Have you shouted out your patrons? Yes, I have. If you do join the Patreon, you get a couple of extra bonuses, like access to a Discord server that's, for members and mods and stuff like that. So yeah, if you are interested, then go ahead and check that out. But we're on now lap number 29 of 53. The hard tyres are still going very strong there for Esteban Ocon and Valtteri Bottas. Both drivers have done 29 laps on them. So, yeah, maybe Piastri, Norris, Leclerc, Sainz, they could all pull off a one-stop if they push the car all the way to the limit. I think Sainz definitely, because if you have a look at that, Sainz has done 19 laps on the medium tyres. He could probably push the hards all the way to the end of this race. Piastri, Norris and Leclerc, though, it's going to be much tighter, and we could have a two-stop where they're trying to chase down Carlos Sainz, who has the net lead of this race. It's going to be very exciting. But Verstappen and Perez, they've kind of shot themselves in the foot there. They don't have any opportunity to go to the end of this race. They have to go in for another pit stop to put on a set of medium tyres. All right. Franco Colapinto here going to make an overtake here on Pierre Gasly. Gasly is losing time, and Colapinto moves to the right hand side, slams on the brakes at the 100-meter mark, and he gets ahead of Pierre Gasly. Brilliant overtake for the rookie driver, first race in Formula 1, and he's got an overtake done on Pierre Gasly. Fantastic job there. The Williams is brilliant in a straight line. Colapinto using that to his advantage, and now Gasly's got Stroll in his mirrors. Franco Colapinto done a fantastic job so far this weekend. Much better than Kimi Antonelli, but even though Kimi Antonelli has been signed for 2025. All right, we may have a couple of drivers getting lapped here. Guan Yu Zhou, Valtteri, Nico Hülkenberg might be getting lapped soon enough. 23 laps remain of this Monza Grand Prix, and the gap up at the front, 3 seconds now. Piastri is pulling away from Norris, and Leclerc is still on Norris's tail. Now they've come over the radio to Norris saying Norris is starting to struggle. This is when Red Bull started graining. And they're essentially just saying now is the time to attack. We've got George Russell trying to get ahead of Sergio Perez. Perez having none of it. Russell goes over the gravel. Does he keep the position? Does he give it back to Sergio Perez? I don't know. He gives the position back to Sergio Perez, but what an overtake there. What an overtaking opportunity for George Russell. And Perez takes the inside line. Russell forced to go around the outside, and he's not going to be happy about that whatsoever. All right, Russell still manages to stay on the back of... Oh, look at that. Leclerc has got DRS on Norris. Norris is starting to struggle. If we look at his front left tyre, there are lines forming. The front left is graining there for Norris. His tyre management not up to par this weekend. Maybe it's the setup, maybe it's his skills. But whatever it is, he's got Charles Leclerc in his mirrors. All right, two battles here. Battle for second place and a battle for seventh place. Oscar Piastri, Norris versus Leclerc and Perez versus Russell. On this occasion, Leclerc a little bit too far back, but the car looks stable for Leclerc. However, for Norris, the front left tyre does not look good. A lap time deleted from Norris, in fact, exceeding track limits at turn number 4. I think he cut the corner and Leclerc caught up quite a bit there. I think Lando locked up going into the second chicane. That's why he got a lap time deleted. Yeah, we've just got the replay here. He's going through Curva Grande and he makes his way under the bridge, hits the brakes and... yeah, misses the braking zone completely, has to go wide, go around the bollard, he loses time, and Charles Leclerc is right there on him now. All right, and Russell, what can he do? Can he get past Sergio Perez on the second time of asking? No, he cannot. George Russell finding it pretty difficult here. Sergio Perez going to the limit and beyond. Yeah, Perez is a little bit confused here. Perez came over the radio saying, oh, he gives me the position and then he starts racing me. Essentially, what George Russell was trying to do is trying to be a little sneaky here. So what happened? At the first chicane, he cut the corner because he didn't slow down enough or there wasn't enough space on the circuit. And then he gave the position back going through turn number 3. And then immediately going into turn number 4, he tried to overtake. Oh, Norris into the pits. Norris, first driver into the pit lane. They're once again going to pull off an undercut. If Leclerc doesn't start pushing ASAP, then Norris is going to undercut Charles Leclerc. This is key now. So Leclerc has got to attack. And he might even undercut Oscar Piastri. So Piastri is probably going to come into the pits on this lap, and so is Leclerc. Yeah, but McLaren are at risk of doing this all over again. They may even undercut. Themselves, and they may have to go over the radio to Lando Norris, say, give the position back to Oscar Piastri. If this is Hungary all over again, I do not want that. I mean, it was kind of exciting in Hungary, but we don't want that all over again, and McLaren really need to learn from their mistakes. Oh, folks, we're 20 subscribers away from 95k. If you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. And if you haven't subscribed, obviously, then hopefully we can get 100k, maybe 96k. That might be a bit of a tall order, but let's wait and see. All right, Dirk has become a supporter. Thanks for making the race so entertaining. I appreciate it, Dirk. Thank you for supporting the channel. Oh no, Norris over the radio saying, I don't know why I'm killing my front left tires so much. He doesn't even know what mistake he's making. So they're gonna tell him go slowly through Parabolica or something like that. But no, nothing for Lando Norris. He's got to sort out the issue himself. He's got 21 laps to do on this set of hard tires. Piastri and Leclerc. Is Leclerc going to try to go to the end of this race? I don't know. I think he's been pushing too hard on these tires to try and go all the way to the end. Yeah, Russell comes into the pits as well. Russell was trying to overtake Perez, but he knew that wasn't going to happen. So straight into the pits he went. And yeah, interesting. All right. 4.2 second pit stop for Lando Norris. A little bit slow there, but nonetheless, fairly quick. Well, no, actually, it's fairly slow. And he may end up losing out to Sergio Perez because of that. Look at that, Lando Norris purple in the first sector. I think this lap is going to be the fastest lap. He's right behind Max Verstappen as well. We'll see what Verstappen do. Does Verstappen make Norris's hard? Absolutely horrible. Does not Verstappen make Norris's life very difficult for him to try and get that overtake done? We'll wait and see. Is anyone coming into the pits? No, they're not. Piastri stays out. Leclerc stays out. If they keep doing this, if Piastri doesn't come into the pits, Lando Norris will undercut Oscar Piastri, and they will have Hungary all over again. Like, this is not a joke, because Lando Norris, he set a fastest first sector. He goes slower than his personal best in the middle sector because he has no DRS, but that's going to be a quick lap from Lando Norris. Yeah, a fastest lap of the race, a 122.8. Piastri, a 123.4, sorry, on his previous lap, and that gap is going to disappear all too quickly, and Piastri may lose this race lead. Oh no. All right, I'm going to have a quick sip of water. I've been talking non-stop and my throat's going to start hurting soon. But yeah, thank you everyone that's hit the like button. Thank you everyone that has subscribed. It very much does help out the channel. All right, Lando, this is the thing. Does Lando need to be prioritized? Lando could be going for the World Drivers' Championship. Have they explicitly said that to Piastri? Oh, you will be prioritized. Lando Norris will be prioritized over you because he's competing for the World Drivers' Championship. I don't know. Yeah. The gap, it's up for debate now. If Max Verstappen DNFs in this race and Lando Norris goes on to win, then it's quite certain that there will be a championship battle. But if Lando Norris DNFs and Verstappen scores maybe a podium, then it's quite certain that there won't be a championship battle. It all comes down to one single potential DNF, one bad race, and everything could turn around. So I don't know. Perez gets called into the pits box for Sergio Perez. He'll be coming in on this lap. Yeah. Okie dokes. This is exciting then. Piastri, he's got a bit of traffic ahead of him, but he's going to get DRS off the traffic, which is far, good enough. What if both of them DNF? Then, of course, it gets closer and closer. With less races and less points available, then it's quite unlikely that they'd win. Oh, they've just come over the radio to Oscar Piastri saying Plan B. I don't know what Plan B is, but maybe that is to go to the end of the race on these set of tyres. He's got 18 laps left to go. If we look at both Bottas could pull off 34 laps on his first set of hard tyres. Esteban Ocon could pull off 31 laps. So the most laps anyone has done on a set of hard tyres is Valtteri Bottas. He did 34 laps. Piastri's done 20 laps. He's got 17 left to go, so he'd have to extend that to 37 laps. It's possible, but it's risky. The front left tyre could, it could essentially explode. You could get a puncture on the front left tyre if you're not careful through Parabolica. It's a very high load corner, and yeah, they're going to have to be careful if they go for a one-stop for Oscar Piastri. Plan B won't be switched to the mediums. Piastri only had one set of mediums at the start of this race. They had one set of mediums and two sets of hards. So it's either go to the end of the race or come in for another set of hard tyres. Right. Why did Lando come into the pits? Because his front left tyre was absolutely dead. That's why he came into the pit lane. He's got to chase down Verstappen. He's got to chase down Hamilton. So let's wait and see what Verstappen will do. Will Verstappen make his life very, very difficult and not let him past? It's critical. Verstappen is fighting in the championship. He's got to hold back Lando Norris as much as possible. Say next race Verstappen gets a DNF, then the championship is really up in the air, and he's got to do his absolute best at this current moment in time to not lose any points to Lando Norris. So we'll see what Verstappen can do. I'm sure he will use all of his battery because he probably can and still get away with it. He's got a pretty decent gap behind him to Kevin Magnussen, 26 seconds. So yeah, let's see. Track temperature is 45 degrees, so tyre wear is very high. Still, making those hard tyres last all the way to the end of the race could be a tall order. F1 Gamer, didn't Kimi race instead of Hamilton? No, Kimi has been signed for next year. He took part in FP1, but that's it. Oh no, they've come over the radio to Piastri. I said, I don't think so. The front left is pretty dead, so they don't think they can go to the end of this race on those tyres. And if Piastri comes into the pits now, he might come out behind Norris. Hamilton comes out of the pits, he comes out behind Norris, and the gap between Verstappen and Norris is 1 second. All right. Here we go. We have got an exciting race on our hands. Lando Norris versus Max Verstappen. These are the two championship drivers, but they're driving in 4th and 5th position, not in 1st and 2nd. Ooh, who is that? That is Sergio Perez squeezing George Russell all the way to the grass, and Russell still manages to get the overtake done. Perez is going to have the slipstream going towards turn number 2. Let's see, Perez on the outside line, Russell on the inside line. Who's got the better car? Who's better in a straight line? It is Sergio Perez going into the second chicane. Russell brakes a lot later, and he holds on to that second place. 8th position for George Russell, 9th position for Sergio Perez. Is that a slow pit stop for Piastri? Oh no, wait, let's see, what is the pit stop time for Piastri? I don't think that was a quick pit stop. Oh, no, wait, let's see. So he comes out of the pits now. Where is Lando Norris? Will he be able to hold on to that lead? Yes, he will. Narrowly, but yes, Lando Norris is in second position and Piastri is in first. So close. Is McLaren torpedoing Piastri's win for the championship? I don't know. But it looked like a slow pit stop, but Piastri managed to stay out ahead nonetheless. So yeah, a good job there from Oscar Piastri. A consistent, very, very consistent laps all weekend long. And this race so far, 39 laps, he has, been in the net lead of this race, and he's been doing a fantastic job. Max Verstappen holding Lando Norris back here, and I don't think he's going to make his life very easy whatsoever. So let's wait and see. Lando Norris, he's got DRS as they go towards Ascari. He opens the DRS flap. He's gaining on Max Verstappen, but he's too far back for now. All right. 15 laps remain of this race, folks. Hope you guys are enjoying the coverage. And if you could hit the like button, that'd be fantastic. And if you haven't subscribed as well, maybe 95,500 subscribers, maybe even 96. But yeah, go ahead and subscribe. Massively helps out the channel. Yeah, what happened to Yuki? Yuki had damage from a crash with Nico Hulkenberg and had to retire from this race. Okie dokes. Ooh, Max Verstappen defending against Lando Norris very, very harshly there. Takes the inside line quite early, and there is nothing that Lando Norris could do. Now they go towards turn number 2. Lando Norris, he's shifting up through the gears towards the second chicane, but yeah, he's too far back to get an overtake done so far. And Verstappen still going defensive, taking very defensive lines here. I think he's almost trying to slow down Lando Norris and make sure that he can't store a win, because that is 8 more points. If Norris goes on to win this race, then that's 8 more points. So Verstappen's basically saying, oh mate, I'm going to slow you down as much as I can, because there's no chance you're winning this race. I don't care who wins, but you're not winning for sure. I think that's what Max's mentality is. Yeah, GP told Max to defend, and once again going into Ascari, he plays a little game, darts to the left hand side, but comes back onto the racing line. And let's get F1 Gamers to 100k so we can get his 100k plaque. Yeah, that'd be nice. But we'll see. I think 100k will come as long as the commentary is good and the races are as fantastic as this one. Then I think 100k will come soon enough. Right, we have got Oscar Piastri. Look at that, fastest lap of the race, 4 seconds ahead. And Norris is gaining. He pulls out to the left-hand side. And what can Max Verstappen? Pushes Norris all the way to the limit here. And Norris has managed to squeeze past. But Verstappen is going to deploy the overtake button. He's going to go as much energy as possible. And going through Curva Grande now, he is a little bit too far back. And Lando Norris, he's also deploying the battery. And there is nothing that Max Verstappen can do. The DRS assistant was too powerful for Lando Norris, and it is a sealed and dealed second position once the Ferraris comes into the pits. If the Ferrari comes into the pits, they do not have to come into the pits. They have had their 2 sets of tyre compounds. So 13 laps remain of this race, and the Ferraris look like they're staying out. I don't think they're coming into the pits. Piastri's got a 5-second gap to Sainz and a 15-second gap to Leclerc. So McLaren, they've gone for a 2-stop strategy. They have the fresher tyres, but the question is, can they catch up? Do they have enough time? Sainz is going to be told over the radio, he's going to be told, you have to defend with absolutely everything that you've got, so Leclerc can go on to win this race. Wow, we've got 42,000 people watching the live stream. That is fantastic. Thank you everyone for tuning in, by the way. Very much is appreciated. Hope you guys are enjoying. And we could have the 2 Ferraris get a 1-2. It's going to be difficult for a 1-2, maybe a 1-3, but it was looking like Piastri was going to win this race. The Ferraris, I think what they're going to do, they're just going to stay out. There's no need for them to come into the pits. If they come into the pits, it's a confirmed 3-4. There's no chance that they're going to do that. They are going to stay out, and we are going to have a battle all the way to the end. Just, you cannot get any better than this. Here we go then. Let's have a look at these lap times. Oscar Piastri a 1:22.0, and we've got Carlos Sainz a 1:23.3, 1.3 seconds faster on the previous lap is Oscar Piastri. Piastri is an absolute rocket ship, but he's only got 12 laps to go. What have McLaren done? Is this going to be a Ferrari 1-2? Is it going to be a Ferrari 1-3? I mean, it would be spectacular for Ferrari to win at their home race. Charles Leclerc has already done it in 2019. That time they had the Mercedes chasing them down. This time they've got the Mercedes-powered McLaren chasing them down. And honestly, it's not looking that good for Piastri. Look at that gap. 15 seconds he's got to close up in 11 laps. Even if his tyres stay... we've got someone that's just donated. Let me have a look. Folks, do you think, is it going to be a Ferrari 1-2? Oh, Dengen Diver, once again, thank you for the $2 donation. Very much is appreciated. But this race has suddenly just turned into so much more excitement. We could have a Ferrari 1-2. We could have the McLaren spoil the fun. The gap was 5 seconds. Within the space of 2 minutes, the gap has now gone down to 3 seconds. And Sainz is speeding up. He's got a bit of traffic ahead of him. That's going to help him out. That's in fact a benefit for him. He's going to get DRS off the traffic. Zhou and Gasly are going to give him DRS, so that means Piastri will catch up less. Let's wait and see what will happen. We've got 40,000 people watching the live stream. That's the highest it has ever been, folks. We're making a record-breaking live stream for a record-breaking fantastic race that we've got on our hands for the final 11 laps of the Italian Grand Prix. Here comes Oscar Piastri. Will he be able to overtake Carlos Sainz? Will he be able to chase down Charles Leclerc? Will Leclerc be able to hold on to his hard tyres? They're already 27 laps old. He's going to have to do 38 laps on those hard tyres. If he's going to finish the race on them. And if we look at the replays, they're not looking great. They look slightly better than Lando Norris's tyres before he came into the pits, but they are not looking in a great state. We've got Lando Norris, he gets ahead of Valtteri Bottas. We've got Oscar Piastri, he gets ahead of Guan Yu Zhou going into the first chicane. Now there is no cars in between himself and Carlos Sainz. The gap is already down to 1.5 seconds. 10 laps remain of this race, and Piastri has closed up a 5-second gap. He's closed that down by 4 seconds in the space of 2 laps. This is going all the way down to the wire, folks, all the way down to the fire. We've got a two-way fight for first position, and we've got 10 laps to go. What more can you want from Formula One, ladies and gentlemen? Wow. Verstappen with the fastest lap of the race. He comes into the pits, he puts on a set of medium tyres, he's attacking like he's never attacked before. He's got a 13-second gap to Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton's out on hard tyres. They are fresh hard tyres, but nonetheless the mediums are much quicker, and Verstappen has just set a fastest lap of the race. So Verstappen's going to be chasing down Hamilton, and we'll see what he can do. Piastri's already on the back of Carlos Sainz. The gap is 0.7 of a second. Here they go into Parabolica. Will Sainz get DRS off Gasly? That will save him for 1 lap. If Sainz can get DRS off the back marker ahead, which is Pierre Gasly, that is going to help him out enormously. And yes, he does. Carlos Sainz does get DRS off Pierre Gasly, and that saves him for 1 lap. 1 less lap that Oscar Piastri has to chase down Charles Leclerc. All right, a good job there, and Pierre Gasly has just helped out Carlos Sainz, and the Tifosi will be saying a very big thank you to him. Alright, Sainz has just come over the radio saying, my front left is nearly gone, but I guess we'll try. Sainz knows that if he comes into the pits now, it's a confirmed 3-4. He's got to throw absolutely everything at it. He goes to the inside, looks to the inside, tries to send Piastri, but they make their way through the second sector. 1 less lap, 1 less chance to make an overtake. Piastri is so much quicker in every single part of the circuit. Through Lesmo 1, a right-hander, the front left tyre, it's gone. Through the right-hander of Lesmo 2, the front left tyre, once again, it's gone. Through Parabolica, the front left tyre is gone. So it's going to be very tough for Carlos Sainz to hold on to this lead. And here comes Oscar Piastri towards Ascari. We haven't seen a single overtake here, and Piastri gets the overtake done. Wow, what an overtake into Ascari. We haven't seen a single overtake there all race long, and Piastri has got the overtake done with such ease. 9 laps remain of this race. There are 11 seconds between Oscar Piastri and Charles Leclerc. Folks, we have got a two-way fight for first position here in Monza, a Ferrari versus a McLaren. The last time Ferrari won here was 2019. Let me know who you think's going to win in the chat. But we have got, this is so exciting. All right. I think Sainz is also going to lose the position to Norris. We'll have to see if he can hang on to it, but it does not look like his front left tyres can take much more. And it's even worse condition for Charles Leclerc. Charles Leclerc has done 6 more laps on his hard tyres compared to Carlos Sainz, and Piastri is Piastri's as quick as ever. One thing that we do. If you are a Ferrari fan, there is one thing on your side. And the thing is, there are 8 more laps of this race. And in those 8 laps, Piastri's tyres are going to wear out. They're going to go from 7 laps old to 15 laps old. And in those 8 laps, it's going to be very hard to gain. It's going to be very hard to put in consistently quick laps. You're going to have mistakes start to creep in. You're going to have your tyres start to overheat. And yeah, it's going to be an uphill battle for Piastri now. 11 seconds is the gap between himself and Charles Leclerc. Ooh, all right. Sainz, he is still holding back Lando Norris here. We'll see if he can hold him back for and how much longer he can do that for. There are 7 laps remaining of this race as Charles Leclerc comes across the start-finish line for the 47th time in this race. Carlos Sainz could get a podium on his birthday, but Lando Norris is going to do his best to prevent that. Once former teammates, now rivals, competing for a podium at Monza. Here comes Lando Norris. Carlos Sainz, he looks to the inside, he looks in his mirrors, but Lando Norris too far back to get an overtake done, and he'll have to concede to fight another day. All right, folks, if you could hit 7,000 likes, that'd be fantastic. If you haven't hit the like button, it would very much be appreciated. And once again, I do have to say this, if you are a fan of F1, which clearly you are, you're watching Formula 1 right now, and you want to watch all of the live coverage with team radios, with onboards and all of that, and with this data, then F1 TV Pro, the link is in the description. It helps out the channel massively. They've come over the radio. They've come over the radio to Charles Leclerc. They say brake balance +1. They said, leave me alone with this. I'll do things. Wait, let me read that again. I don't do things you ask. Don't ask 10 times. Oh, if I don't do things you ask, don't ask 10 times. Oh, Charles Leclerc is getting quite angry over the radio here, and fair enough. He's got to keep this lead of this race. He's got all of the Tifosi's hopes and dreams are on his shoulders right now, and Oscar Piastri is chasing him down. Here comes Carlos Sainz. Can he defend against Lando Norris into Parabolica? Yes, he can, but Norris is going to be so close coming down the main straight now. It's not even going to be close now. Here comes Sainz. He deploys all of the overtake mode that he's got, and so does Lando Norris. Norris, with the DRS, breezes past Carlos Sainz, and Sainz falls off the podium at Ferrari's home race. Very, very unfortunate there for Carlos Sainz, but Lando Norris up into second place, and it is a 2-3 for Lando Norris. 2-3 for McLaren, sorry. And this is one thing that I'd like to say here. Lando Norris could win the championship against Max Verstappen, but the thing is, he would have to win most of the races with Max Verstappen scoring some decent points. But the problem is, it's not just the Red Bull and the McLaren that are 2 quick teams. There's also the Ferraris, there's also the Mercedes, and that throws a massive spanner in the works. So Norris won't be able to win every single race, even though he might be the quickest in quali. Piastri, the Ferraris, the Mercedes, they're going to be quick in the race, and yeah, let's wait and see. 6 laps left of this race, and Oscar Piastri has got an 8.7 second gap to close to Charles Leclerc. Let's see what he can do, but it's going to be a tall order. Leclerc's got no one ahead of him to give him some DRS assistance or some slipstream assistance. Piastri does have 2 drivers ahead of him, Stroll and Ocon, who will give him DRS and a tow. But 5 laps remain of this race, and the gap is 8 seconds. On the previous lap, Piastri gained 0.8 of a second, but it's not. It doesn't look like it's going to be enough. Folks, do let me know who is your drive of the day. Who do you think deserves drive of the day? Oh, we've got AG Cole. Thank you for being a YouTube member. It definitely helps out the channel as well. And I'll send you a link to the Discord. All right. Verstappen's just come over the radio, said the people in the background, please be awake. I know it's a bad situation, but yeah, he's still driving the car or something along those lines. That's what he said. So Verstappen not particularly pleased with what's going on here. I don't think the Red Bull crew are paying much attention. He's in 6th position. There's a 4-second gap behind him, a 15-second gap ahead of him. Oh, I don't know what's going on there. I think the data is just having a bit of a moment. Let me just refresh the team radios. There we go. That should sort things out. All right, the team radios will come through shortly. But how did Leclerc get in first? Honestly, a brilliant race strategy from Ferrari. Would you have expected that? Brilliant race strategy from Ferrari. Not something on my bingo list, to be honest. But if we have a look at the Drivers' Championship, Norris will be gaining 15 points if the positions stay as they are now, and Verstappen will be gaining 9. That reduces the gap to 64 points now between Lando Norris and Max Verstappen. It's going to be an uphill battle if he wins this World Drivers' Championship. There may be a couple of DNFs involved. I definitely think Oscar Piastri should be driver of the day. He's led the race from the front. He's done a fantastic job. Maybe Charles Leclerc. He's done 38 laps on hard tyres and he's still not giving up. He's driving for on the absolute limit. The front left is dead on his car. You can see just the lines forming on the front left, but every time through Lesmo 1, through Lesmo 2, he's managing to keep it on the circuit. Not a single time has Leclerc gone onto the gravel. Not a single time has he locked up. Absolute perfect focus from Charles Leclerc, and maybe that's why he deserves driver of the day. Wow, we've got 44,000 people tuned into live stream. Wow, that is fantastic. We're getting pretty close to 96,000 subscribers at this rate, folks. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, be sure to do so. It massively, massively helps out the channel. And I'd love to hit 100k, maybe by next race, maybe by the race after that. Colapinto has gained 5 positions this race. That is a brilliant point. Franco Colapinto has pulled off a one-stop strategy. He's done 33 laps on his set of hard tyres. He's gone from 18th position up into 13th. A brilliant drive by Colapinto, honestly. A fantastic job for his first race in Formula 1. Of course, he's not in the spotlight because he is down in 13th position, but nonetheless, a great drive from the rookie. Yeah. All right. Here comes Charles Leclerc then. 3 laps remain of this race. The gap is 6.7 seconds to Piastri. It is looking more and more sealed. Every single lap that goes on, it is looking more and more sealed for Charles Leclerc. He's just not got to make a mistake. A single mistake going off onto the gravel trap, and that gap turns to nothing. So, yeah, let's wait and see. Charles is skating at turn 1. His tyres are awful. Indeed, they are. 35 laps on hard tyres, and they're not 35 slow laps. There are 35 quick laps pushed to the limit. So we'll see what Charles Leclerc can do. Oh, a lot of Tifosi hopes and dreams remain on his shoulders. He's got 3 more laps of this race, 2 more laps very, very shortly now. Yeah, he comes through Parabolica for the 3rd to last time. And yeah, he starts the penultimate lap of this race. All right, I'm going to have a quick sip of water, folks. We have had such an exciting race so far. And yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in. We've got 44,000 people, which is a record breaking for the channel. Yeah, wow, what a turn of events this has been. All right, here we go then. Lance Stroll comes into the pits. I don't know why Stroll's into the pits now. I think he's retiring from the race, maybe so he can get a new gearbox next race. Oh no, Stroll comes out of the pits as well. Okay, I don't know why he's just coming to the pits. He's coming to the pits for a fresh set of soft tyres. Very strange there for Lance Stroll. Track temperature has dropped a little bit. It's down to 44 degrees Celsius. The gap up at the front, 4.7 seconds. It's dipped 2 seconds on the previous lap. Oh, we've got another member, Exoteric. Thank you for becoming a channel member. Very much is appreciated. Yeah. And this strategy from Ferrari, a absolutely brilliant strategy when everyone else was thinking a 2-stop race because the hard tyres just were wearing out far too quickly. Ferrari decided to risk it. Charles Leclerc managed to pull this off. Well, I'm not going to speak too soon. There's 1 lap left of this race. We're on the final lap. And the Tifosi are up on their feet. They are cheering on Charles Leclerc. He goes towards the first chicane for the final time of this race, bounces over the curbs. As he does, onto the throttle he goes, and the gap behind him is 3.9 seconds. He goes through Curva Grande. The Tifosi in the grandstands are cheering. Monza is going absolutely wild, and he now comes towards the second chicane, brakes underneath the bridge and stays on the circuit. No sign of him making any sort of mistakes. Into Lesmo 2 for the final time. The front left tire is screaming so loud. Exoteric, $2 donation, thank you, and Sush as well, very much is appreciated. Thank you everyone for all of the support and all of the lovely messages in the chat and the donations and the Patreon members. Very much is appreciated. But this moment is all now down to Charles Leclerc. He comes through the Ascari chicane for the final time. He has done a fantastic drive for Ferrari. He started the race on the medium tyres, had a great race start, got ahead of Lando Norris, put on the hard tyres. He managed those hard tyres so well. He comes out of Parabolica. He won in Monaco. He wins in Monza. What a drive from Charles Leclerc. The second win from him at Monza, and Ferrari go wild. So do the Tifosi. What a race this has been. Piastri across the line, second place. Lando Norris in third. And we've got Carlos Sainz, the birthday boy, in fourth position. What a drive from Charles Leclerc. Wow. Thank you, Giuseppe, for the donation. Forza Ferrari, indeed. Grazie, ragazzi. What a race this has been. And what Charles Leclerc wins in Monza. The Tifosi are going wild. Oh, wow. Wow. Max Verstappen comes across the line in 6th position. Hamilton in 5th. Russell in 7th after getting damage on the opening lap of this race. Sergio Perez in 8th. We got K-Mag in 9th position. One of the Haas cars still managed to make it up into the points, even after his bad qualifying. And then Alexander Albon closes out the top 10 in 10th place. All right, and the Ferraris drive home in formation. What a race this has been. Fantastic, folks. It has been a pleasure commentating to you guys, and thank you everyone for tuning in. Yeah, wow, we've hit 96,000 subscribers as well. Thank you very much. Norris with the fastest lap, stealing that one extra point away and getting that towards his championship battle. Charles Leclerc, 26% of the driver of the day vote. Fantastic job. All right, folks, that has been it from me. What a fantastic race this has been. I'm going to ask one thing of you guys. If you could, what's going to happen is I'm going to end the live stream. It'll take you over to next race's live stream. It'll be Baku in 2 weeks' time. If you could hit the like button on the Baku live stream, it basically tells YouTube algorithm, oh wow, this is an amazing live stream. Everyone's hit the like button and it hasn't even started yet. So if you guys could hit the like button on the Baku live stream and the reminder button, that'd be fantastic. Massively does help out the channel. But we've had 53 laps of racing here at Monza. The Tifosi have gone wild. There's red smoke everywhere. Charles Leclerc is so happy over the radio. And this has been a fantastic race. All right. Cheers everyone for tuning in. Have a wonderful morning, day, afternoon, evening, or night, depending on where you are in the world. And yeah, once again, if you could just hit the like button on the Baku race live stream, then that would be fantastic. I'm going to end today's stream. It'll take you over to there. And wow, very much is appreciated, everyone. And I hope to see you in 2 weeks' time for the race in Baku, where we are once again going to have all 4 teams coming at full attack mode, trying to score as many points and as many race wins as possible. So, yeah. All right, that's been it from me. Just the reminder button and the like button on next week's live stream, or in 2 weeks' time's live stream. Cheers, fellas. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in.